You're watching Weekend at Gabe's, and I'm Weekend Gabe. This latest episode was brought to you by the good folks over at the Ghetto Flower. Use our code W@G for an exclusive 15% discount when visiting their site. Tell them I sent you. Now enjoy the show.
All right. Our next guest is joining us from the Bay Area. I think she's our first artist.
I have
musician.
zero hyphy sound effects. I just want to let you know. I wish I had more, if but this is all I got.
It's all good. Her music's been featured on ESPN. She is the self-proclaimed first artist to sell her music as an NFT music collection. So we're going to get into that. There's a lot to unpack. It's a pleasure to introduce Kaila Love to the Weekend at Gabe. So how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks so much for having me on today.
Thank you for coming.
Listen,
it is an honor to have the first woman music NFT founder on the show tonight.
I know this a lot. Well, one of the first women rappers. Yeah, I started selling back in March, over a year ago now. So I just had my anniversary in this space, and
wow.
I feel super welcome even without the intentional hyphy effects. So thank you for that.
This is fantastic because we definitely been talking a lot about NFTs since it became a trend about 6 months ago. Sam, I think that's when we first started really seeing it.
Yeah, that's when I first started trying to book blockchain guests, and you told me I was
stupid. Exactly. But being that you're involved in that, you're involved in crypto. You got the new record, Crypto Girl, dropping next month, in less than a month now. So we can't wait to hear that. So how did you? We'll get into the backdrop a little bit, but how did you transition from just being an artist who records music and to this new sort of next level? This new next level of artistry. How did you take that step?
Oh man, well, it's always been a progression. I had quit my kind of real job as a curriculum developer in the nonprofit world about 2017, I think 2018, maybe around there. And I had gone to back to school. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college, so I got a bachelor's in political science. Thank you, from UC Berkeley. And then I went back to school to get an associate's degree. I did it backwards and got that in recording arts, and that really opened me up to what it really took to be an artist. Not just the time spent in putting the raps and now trying to learn music theory and production, but also the business side, knowing to go to conferences now, being more connected and learning kind of what it takes on the business side. And so when NFTs came about, it was like an idea that I was already thinking about, selling like a high ticket offer, packaging it with other skill sets that I had. It just seemed to be the perfect culmination of a solution I'd already been looking for. And now it was like, wow, the technology is finally here to be able to pull that off. So I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And one of the ways you've brought this into, I mean, obviously NFTs are digital art, but bringing it into the physical space, you were down at South by Southwest the other week. Tell us about your experience down there. It looked like you hit upwards of 10 stages. It looked like it was a lot going on down there.
Man, honestly, these last 2 months, I've just been on the road. I started around January 21st. I started making this pitch deck on this Crypto Girl project. So like actually putting all my ideas down on paper, rather a pitch deck. And I secured my first 5-figure investment to go on tour. So since that time, I've gone to Los Angeles, Austin, South by Southwest, the NFT community, NF Tuesdays in New York City, Las Vegas. I feel like I'm missing some places because it just feels like it's been all over the place. Just performing my song, creating community, bring education, and really kind of peeping the scene also, because I've noticed that there isn't a whole lot of that community out here in the Bay Area, which is super ironic since it's such a tech capital.
Right. That is strange to hear, actually. I gotta be honest. I would have thought it would have been in the forefront of people's minds.
Right.
You would
Exactly.
think, but you know, NFT Bay Area or NFTLA and NFT NYC, they've been really storming into the forefront of holding these type of events, these national conferences. Obviously, Miami is a capital in the space as well. And so that's part of what of the research I'm doing right now is to figure out how to bridge that gap and create that community out here where I'm from. And so yeah, South by Southwest was awesome. I got to play about 4 shows out there and just everything crypto I was trying to find. I was just manifesting that the whole time. And I ended up finding this gallery because I saw on the wall it was like these big vertical screens. I said, oh, those are NFTs. I'm going in there. And it was artists that were performing that their NFTs behind them. You could scan the QR codes. I was like, yes, it's here, it's now. And I got to perform my song there. So it was just an example of a great welcoming community. Disrupt Art was throwing that event. I had no idea who they were before, but now, you know, I'm super tapped in with them and like found that our projects are similarly aligned with our values.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting, the NFT community and how collaborative, how together it is, and it's super foreign to people, especially from Chicago. Chicago is notoriously the city of haters. To see people come together from all walks of life and just put their heads together and make something cool. So to that effect, you attended NFTLA. I believe was that last week,
Yeah.
and your birthday was also that week.
Yeah.
That's right.
I had a couple other friends who headed out to that event. They said it was rainy, the weather was shit, but the content was there. Tell us about your experience there.
Man, I don't know if it's just that I'm like so burnt out from traveling, but I was just tired. It wasn't too bad the weather. It was like really the first day. I was struggling to get there, so I missed like kind of even the opening party. It was interesting because they had the Los Angeles Convention Center, but they only had breakout sessions on the second day. So the first and the last day, everything was just in the big room. So it was just like the stage full of speakers. You come in and you just see whoever's there. So you don't really have the chance to go around. But I mean, I think the value in those type of events is really just the networking and trying to find like-minded people, somebody that might be a supporter of your project, a project that you find aligns with your values that you want to invest in, and just seeing some really cool art, seeing what kind of things are popping up in the space in terms of the education, the technology, other people creating their own like layer 2 solutions or their own tokens, their projects. So it's just a hella creative energy, which is what I love.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's circle back. So where you're at now, could you ever imagine that growing up in the Bay Area, you've spoken about this on other interview shows about not having your parents, being raised by your grandmother. I think your school counselor almost laughed you out of her room when you told her that you wanted to go to Berkeley, and then here you have 2 degrees. You're doing all these TikTok videos about educating on financial, but also on even world politics using your poli-sci degree. Like, could you ever imagine from your growth and where you started that you would have blossomed into doing all these different areas of focus and educating, including children currently?
I want to say hell no, but then part of me says hell yeah at the same time. I mean, on one hand, it's just like the growth is enormous, even from where I was a year ago today. It's like, wow, so much it just happened. And then on the other hand, it's like I've always been that person that has my hands in a lot of things. So I always have like a bunch of projects at like 80% versus 2 or 3 at like that 100% super polished. So sometimes it feels like I don't have anything to show for what I'm actually doing. And it's just like this culmination that it's going to be an explosion. So that's always what's kind of hard about balancing out where I'm at and where I see myself going. So it's a little bit slower process for me because sometimes I do spread myself a little thinner. I guess that's like my vice. But at the same time, when somebody tells me just pick one, it's like as much as in my heart and my mind, I want to, say that they're right. I can never follow through with it. So that's what I'm really excited about with NFTs because it feels like the one place, like a big funnel where everything that I care about can have a home now that's connected somehow.
Hell yeah.
Do you feel like you're always proving you need to prove people wrong because statistically, being raised without a father and mother, but under your grandmother's guidance, statistically, children don't do well. Statistically, if you don't attend a big time university or do any of these things that you seem to have overcome, do you feel like everything that you're doing is to prove a purpose of like, I was able to overcome, achieve, and that I told you so that I could do this when others didn't believe?
Yeah, I guess there is part of it that is like, yeah, like I want to just say that I did and overcome it, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares about your struggles until you come out with the victory. Otherwise, you're just
Hell
another
yeah.
struggling. So it's kind of
Mm.
like
Yeah.
it's like the only way to make all of those things worth it, all the sacrifices, all the loss that I've taken along the way. It just can't be for anything, and the only way to rectify that is to make something of myself, because I
Right.
feel that's like all I have to live for. It's the only thing that gives my life purpose. So I don't know if it's necessarily motivated by the need to prove people wrong, or maybe probably prove to myself more than anything, but it's even just out of survival, out of this being an only option for me.
Mm.
Sure.
Mm.
Mm.
I want to circle back to the NFTs. We had Prop Cause, a Chicago guy, on the show the other day. He's in charge of the Scully's NFT project, and he really opened our eyes talking about some of the additional things he does beyond the creation of the NFTs, but then also assigning them attributes, which gives it this depth, the project this depth. I'm curious on music NFTs. I've seen a lot of different pitches, seen a lot of different projects.
Hmm.
But what is the pull that makes music the right match for an NFT?
Well, the thing that I think right now is, since most projects are on Ethereum, it doesn't make sense to just sell your song at a very low price point, $2, $3, because at the end of the day, gas fees, it's like, you're going to have people end up paying $50, $60 for that song. And then most of that money is not even going to you. So that's like not the way. I think that's a huge barrier for people right now. So it's more about creating a project where people have it's a community built around it. So my community is specifically focused on a new collaboration model. It's for music artists, music industry executives, entrepreneurs, activists, content creators. And the way that I'm kind of doing it is built off of the structure that Spotty Wi-Fi, who's a huge inspiration to me, did, where he made actually each stem of his song a rarity trait. And so
Mm.
that's one of the levels in how I'm
Hmm.
creating that differentiation. And instead of doing kind of animated art, I'm actually using photography. So I partnered with Jeff Straw to have as my visual director, and we're switching out the rarity traits of like my hair color and my earrings, like my makeup looks, the backgrounds of the project, the hexagon, the shapes, and I'm also having a bunch of remix producers on the project, and they're additionally going to be rarity traits. And so that's one level of just creating unique cover art for each one that has a little bit of personality from the people that are contributing to that particular version of the song.
Mm. And you mentioned in another interview that another reason to do music NFTs is that the listening is sort of shifted away from the radio. I'm
Mm.
curious as to why you think that is, because I've heard a lot of opinions.
Oh, I mean, radio, like I just did a campaign with my homie Mike Whitty, and he runs bestofthenext.com. And so it's a radio influencer campaign. And so I think it's shown that radio has evolved, and it's like NFTs are going to force the music industry to evolve and the role that record labels play to evolve. So I think I'm still going to approach a radio, like that's one of the pillars for my strategy, but it's not where I'm putting all of my eggs in that basket. I'm
Mm.
also looking to get sync placements with popular YouTube channels that are talking about crypto, regular sync placements, hopefully with a big kind of crypto company, or a company that at least aligns with my vision, even if they're in Web 2. And it's just really the getting the message out there, because I want to onboard people into this world of NFTs,
Right.
into this world of crypto with my project. And I want people to have a good experience, being able to provide them the education, being able to lay out the roadmap. This is the utility, and provide something of value. So even if my
Mm.
project for some reason went to zero tomorrow, it'd be like they still had something of value. They still have the connections, they still have the community, they have like the workbooks, all of my digital products, my unreleased music, airdrops, etc. So they'll definitely be getting their money's worth regardless of what the market does and how the project fluctuates.
Word.
But to what you're saying as far as onboarding people who have just listened to you right now, explain this very high tech difficulty of trying to elaborate on something that they can't physically hold. How do you sort of break through that barrier of people when they think of music in the traditional way of physical CDs, records, or through streaming. How do you break through to them to understand this next wave
He means how do
of
you break through to
embracing?
Weekend Gabe? That's what.
This is fact too. Because if it doesn't come with a physical CD, I'm probably not going to buy it.
Dang. Well, then, I mean, and when is the last time that you bought a physical CD, though?
On
This is
God,
facts.
Weekend Gabe.
This is huge facts.
I mean, you know, I was on Hollywood Boulevard the other day, and there's the guys out there promoting.
They
trying to
handed
hand
you the
me a
CD. I was like,
And I was
what?
like, I don't even want to be rude, but I don't even know where I would play it right now. You know, like if you hand me a USB stick, maybe, you know
I
what
had
I'm
that
saying?
exact same experience when I was in LA in January and thought the exact same thing. Like, what are you guys doing? This is a full-on waste of your time. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
but the point is, how do you break through to them or break through to a group of the demographic that's their whole life has been the physical component, and you want to bring them along, and they might be fans of yours, but how do you get them to come along with you and then not feel threatened by this new wave of technology that they can't see or feel?
I mean, people invest in digital products all the time. There's a lot of independent artists who have built multi-million careers selling digital products online. Like one of my friends, Legion Gabe, he just posted the other day, he had a $50,000 day selling beats online. The beat is just a WAV file. It's maybe a tracked out file. It's not something physical, right? But it's the idea that you can take those stems and download it and remix it and add your vocals on it and make it something real. Christine Morel, you know, I'm helping collaborate on her Music Hustler workbook on how to book paid gigs as an independent artist. That's a digital product. Technically, it doesn't exist unless you print it out, but there's still a wealth of information in there. She has templates. She has all of her experience talking about how she's booked shows and playing, you know, 50, 60
light them
shows.
up, Caleb. Light them up. Light them up.
So it's just now all of a sudden saying that you can't bootleg my course. You either gonna have the NFT and you're gonna get this content or you don't. So it's really just an extension. And in my recording arts program, I learned about the history of the recording industry, starting with Thomas Edison's phonograph in 1887. What were the limitations of that? It was that it was only 2 minutes long and that the music was played off of a wax cylinder. And then this dude Berliner comes along and he said, okay, I'm going to take kind of the same concept, take the horn, the diaphragm and all this stuff. But instead of that wax cylinder, I'm going to create a disc. And the disc actually sounded terrible. But you don't go backwards with technology, you go forward. So then they found new materials, eventually, you know, polyvinyl chloride, which now we know as vinyl, and started making records with that. And so if you actually follow all of the technology and look at the limitations, that technology that came after it was based on solving a previous problem. So even though people want to brag on Spotify and say that they don't pay artists enough, the music industry was losing billions of dollars. Artists were not getting any metadata, knowing who was listening to their songs, getting any credit for streams. And Spotify solved that problem. A new problem arose, and that's where I think NFTs can fit in. But it's just, the point is that we evolve out here. You know, we don't go backwards, we go forward. So this is just the natural evolution if you kind of look at everything from a macro perspective.
Hell yeah. Wow. Wow. She just broke it down for you, Gabe. That was it. That was it right there, yo. That was
listen, that's going to be our "In Case You Missed It" clip right there. That whole from Thomas Edison to NFTs. I would have never woke up today and thought that would be part of a sentence I said, but here we are.
Tear them apart, Kayla. I love.
They're related.
I want to talk about the song placements. You talked a little bit about it earlier. But obviously 2K, I'm a huge 2K fan, and being on ESPN, that's huge. I was curious, which check, 2K or ESPN, was fatter?
ESPN.
ESPN? For real? Okay. Artists out there, ESPN is where you want to go. The 2K bag, it's like
it depends, because ESPN paid out a direct licensing fee and NBA 2K did not, unless they use it for like a commercial or a more significant role in their marketing materials. But based on the fact that I was in a video game, I got a nice bag for sitting on a panel for the Australia Music and Games Conference to speak about the experience. So that's kind of where it's not as like easy as it sounds, where it's just like, is it this bag or that bag? It's also about how you leverage those opportunities to find more opportunities and more bags.
Hell yeah.
Do you get Do you get the future 2K games from now until forever?
No, I did get the last one. I don't even play. And then my boyfriend, he got a PS5 and he got a 2K22 with the bundle. And I just found out actually my new other single I did, which is the one I sold as my NFT over a year ago, got selected for NBA now. And so I don't know if it's going to be in the game or if it's going to be in promo or the Top Shot collection. I'll see. But I did find out like 2 weeks ago that it was selected. So we'll find out.
Moving and shaking. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Man, that's phenomenal.
I got some fun questions. You got something serious, Gabe?
No, I was gonna have one fun question, but I'll save it for last.
I'll let you close out last. I heard through the grapevine that there was once a Kaila Love cooking show. 2 questions. Number 1, can we bring that back?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Would love to see it. Would love to have NFTs involved with that project. My second question, first episode back, what are we cooking, Kaila?
Probably, I don't know. So it was like where veganism, hip hop, and cooking collide. So I don't know. I'm only a part-time vegan. So on that show, I'm vegan. So I'd probably want to stick with that theme. I don't know. I might just have to take suggestions from the audience, or just you. What would you want me to cook?
I don't know. Is there a staple in the crib? Like, what are you cooking on the like? It's a bomb night. You and your man are at home. You really want to make him something special. What are you going to?
He loves simple stuff. He loves like the trilogy of chicken, broccoli, and rice. Like, yeah, he'll eat that every night. He loves it when I make that. So if that's like a special night, that's what I'm making. So I have to figure out for the vegan version what I would want to do instead of chicken, because I'm not like a huge fan of like fake meat. So it probably have to be some type of stir fry or just like some way to make vegetables real sexy and filling.
Word. That's a good answer.
All right. Before we get out of here, you famously have told this story that you started rapping at the age of 14 to impress a boy in high school. When I was younger, we would they would say love taps. Like if a girl or someone liked you, would hit them. But I never think that girls would want to battle me if they liked me. So.
Well, then why do boys like push little girls if they like them? Battling is violent.
Yo, I like you, but I'm gonna have to serve you these bars first. Let you really know what time it is. But no, but that moment you talk about it in depth about how that really was your jumping on point and into hip hop and rapping. If you can go back and tell the 14-year-old version of you, would you tighten that rap up a little bit, or would you be like, no, you probably would have been fine without doing that?
Yeah, that was the starting point. It worked out. So I mean, that's fine. Yeah, keep it. Historic value.
Did you win the battle though? That's the real question.
I mean, it wasn't an official battle there. It was just like, oh, I want to impress him. I'm gonna come write these little raps every day, and then if he have a cipher, I'm gonna have something ready. I'm in this thing.
You were prepared, rain or shine, to serve that up.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Kaila Love, thank you so much for joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. We appreciate you giving us your time and insight and just everything. It's super impressive of what you're doing and the way you're managing it. I am overwhelmed by the information you shared with us tonight, but in a positive, good way. So I will not be left behind like other dinosaurs.
I don't know. The jury's still out on that one, Gabe.
Well, thank you so much. I really just appreciate the opportunity to have a platform to come and speak about stuff that I'm passionate about and offer myself as a resource to anybody that has questions. I've been working on my website all day, so I'm getting all the outlines, I'm pulling everything together, taking it from the Word docs to something that's presentable. So I'll be putting that information out real soon, and just love to stay connected. I appreciate you, finding me and reaching out.
I appreciate it. Crypto Girl drops May 6th. Make sure we get that too.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a banger.
I love it. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening. We appreciate you joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's.
Thank you, you too.
All right, Kaila Love joining us tonight on Weekend at Gabe's. Yo, she goes home.
I love. Here's what I love about crypto people is that they see the connection in everything. We a long time ago had a good friend of mine, Disruption Joe, on the program to try and break down this space. And he had a hard time doing it because I know Disruption Joe, and Disruption Joe will sit you down for an hour and tell you the whole thing front to back. And you will not get it until minute 59. And then you'll be like, oh, those things are connected. And to see her draw the line from Thomas Edison to NFTs.
Yo, it's incredibly smart.
Incredibly smart, incredibly intuitive. What an educator, what a human being, and what an artist. Just an honor to have her here on the show.
Yeah, man, listen, I knew that you would get excited about this, so I'm glad that worked out.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's on YouTube, brought to you by the Ghetto Flower. Make sure to also click on the links in the description for more information to our guests and access to exclusive new music from the Ghetto Flower and so much more. Make sure to also like and subscribe to the show, and also continue to share, support, and show love by clicking on any of the links surrounding my head. Thanks for watching.